The next few videos, I'm going to try to take a video every one of them. Might not, might do it. But I'm going to try to make a video for this one, how to make a cart, how I do it. And this one right here, I'll go through it. I ordered all the wrong stuff, so yeah. And when you're doing these old wheels right here, I mean, they're all going to be different, especially if they're mismatched. These two right here, same diameters, different inside diameters for the axle. So that's always kind of a goober, but yeah. And then, so all these things are going to be different. When you're buying steel, take your wheels with you. Don't just measure it. Go through all this. We're going to make a four-wheel cart just like that one over there for that one, and then for my LB over there. That LB is going to get probably about the same cart for that one, and then they're just going to be smaller. This one here though, I'm going to try making a three-wheel cart. So we're going to try out that concept. I've seen a few at tractor shows. I really like the looks of them, and I bought these wheels right here, these really neat looking wheels. I bought them. I gave a pretty good chunk of money for them. And the seller, and here's another thing, learn from my mistakes on, never buy anything full price when you don't get all of them. So I got three wheels and I have nothing to do with them. So we're going to try to make a three-wheel cart for this thing because it's already kind of triangular shaped here and kind of oblong, kind of weird. So, but we need to get that thing running before I waste a bunch of time this year making a cart for it. So, yeah. So here's my 3-horse Sattly. It's a Nelson Brothers engine as well. Not much difference in between this one and the one we're going to be building a cart for. But in the front, we make this little triangular shape, flat piece at the bottom, and then a bracket that goes back. Okay, and then we look at the center of gravity and the placement of the axle here. So when you're dragging it down ramps or whatever, it's not wanting to tip over the entire time. And then so you can see the bolt and all that, that's holding it all together. And then also, the very good feature here is the axle folds all the way. It folds 360 degrees underneath there, so that tongue can't trip over it. I've seen a lot of people trip over these at shows. It's very dangerous if you ain't got those little smudge pots. But this is such a good little design here. But anyway, so here's the back axle. It's pretty much the same concept with triangles and stuff, but you just got this straight piece that goes back, one that goes down in the back, and then one that's up at an angle. And it's very simple, very easy to do. Of course, it'll all be covered in this video. And it's welded all around. I think this was a 1-inch shaft here. Here's the other side, same exact concept. We just drilled 2 holes up inside there. 2 bolts is all it uses. I've been using 3/8 lag screws. Haven't had a problem out of them yet. And I'll show you how to do the rest of the axle. Here I just use, I think it was 1-inch pipe actually. Just normal pipe, and I just welded it on there to keep the wheel from sliding all the way in. And then a washer on the outside with a pin. I'll just take a battery drill on a center punch and just drill it through there. Probably needs a washer on the inside as well. Just to be safe. But there it is. The rest of the video, you can skip through it, whatever you want. There'll be a lot of stuff covered in here, pretty much start to finish. This cart I'm going to be building is pretty much identical, besides the axle tubes themselves, because my steel ordering error. I'll talk more about it later. There's my little air hose hanging out in front of the camera. Hope you don't mind. But these wheels, you can normally pick them up. I usually pick them up about $100 for a set of 4. They can be pretty expensive though. All right, so let's start on the back of the card. So what we're gonna do is just kind of use our imaginations on this stuff. Of course, this is not the material we're gonna use. We're gonna be using 2 by 1/4 flat stock. So we're gonna space our wheels. Let's see. This is not the real axle, but we're gonna pretend it is. All right. Take the measure here. All right. Roll it up here to it. Take my tape measure and then measure down. So a 6-inch piece of flat stock will do us just fine. 6 inches from there straight to there. So I want to write that down on a piece of paper. It goes up diagonally. Probably make it 12. That looks pretty good at 12 inches. And that's a simple number and it looks good there. We're going to figure out how we're going to do this axle. It's 12.5 inches wide, this skid is. So we're probably going to space the, let's see, one of these blocks is 3 1/4, 3 3/4, 3 3/4. So 1 7/8 is the halfway mark. So we need to figure out how far apart our supports need to be on the axle. It's going to be 8 3/4 apart. So let's talk about something. Cutting pipe. Now, pipe fitters and all them people, they what they do is they measure back. And I've decided to make the thick part of my axle 20 inches. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a marker. We'll mark at 20 inches here. What pipe fitters use is something similar to this right here. It's called a wraparound. It's a long piece of material. It's kind of like cardboard or something, but just so happens these Kroger pizzas here, just so happen they come with a wraparound included in the pizza box. But the only thing you need, you can use a beer box or anything, is you need a straight edge, right like that. What we're gonna do is wrap this around here. So what we're gonna do is just hold it right there in our hand, hold it down, and draw a mark all the way around there. So now we have a little blue line on there, very straight. All right, then we'll double check. 20 inches right at it. We got a nice straight cut because of our little pizza box wraparound. So here I'm going to start explaining my screw up on my steel ordering. So ordered a bunch of 1.5 inch steel that I did not need, and the 1.25 inch is actually what I needed, but I only got 3 foot of it. So what I did is I just hammered in that 1.25 inch inside of here to get my full length. So, and that 1.5 inch didn't go to waste because that stuff was expensive. So I just hammered it together and then welded around there where they meet at. And I hammered it in there about 1.5 inch just to be safe. And I mean, it was solid without weld, so I don't think there's going to be any problem here. So what I'm going to do is cut off 5 1/4 inches off this side, and yeah, so 5 1/4, and then I'll hit it in another 1.25 inch. All right, so we got 5.5 inches sticking out right there. So what we're going to do is measure down 4 inches. looks about right. 4 inches, a little over. That's okay. We can always take it off the end there. So this side's good. We're gonna flip it around, stick it in there. Or we're gonna cut it first and then stick it in there. And then we'll weld it around there. As you can tell, as I turn it around like that, it ain't wobbling around or nothing. Because this tube is about down in here now. So that thing is so tight, it's gonna keep it straight. All right, let's start on our other one. Ground tubing this time because 1.25 inch solid stock for this engine is like totally overkill and totally too heavy, so I used some thinner stuff. Again, I wouldn't use anything under 1/8 inch wall. About a 16th long, yeah, I can work with that. All right, cut that side down. Let's do the other side. This right here is totally unnecessary. This was just a cause in my steel ordering, but you can do this in a straight piece of round tubing and be just fine. We got that welded up, so now we can start doing our measurements and redo it all. So that's pretty daggum straight. I don't see no wobble. So before we do anything, what we're gonna do is mark the place where these are gonna go on the axle. Tape measure, we're gonna find the midpoint of this thing. So it's pretty much right at 28 inches. Just a hair over 28. So half of 28 is 14, right? 14. There's our middle of our axle. So we're gonna mark that middle there. All right, so if we're going 6 3/4 off each side, divide 6 3/4. How I do it, half of 3 or half of 6 is 3, and then half of 3/4 is 3/8. The only thing you do when you divide a fraction is multiply the denominator by 2. So 3 3/8, 1, 2, 3 3/8, right there. And then 3 3/8 this way, 1, 2, 3, 8, 3/8. All right, so I've used my wraparound and I've got my mark all the way around there. Now, this thing's gonna be sitting underneath there, something like that. So I just put it on those marks and fit it up, put the front ones on there, and then we'll make sure everything's nice and straight and stuff. We're just gonna tack it. And then we're gonna measure the distance in between the top and the other one, so see how it goes. All right, so now how I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna put it on something that's square. It can be anything. Say this piece of wood right here, this one right here, it's off of some kind of furniture, I don't know. But we're gonna lock up this side with that piece, and then we're gonna be tacking over here. All right, so we're gonna make sure that's pressed against there, pull it against there, and make sure this piece right here is 5 1/4 inches away from that tube, the top of it, okay? All right, got that one on there. Nice and square, 5 1/2 inches away. All right, we're gonna do the other side. That's ready to tack. All right, got our 2 pieces tacked on there. Let's go take a test fit, see what it looks like. It's pretty good, pretty straight, pretty square. See if we can catch ourselves. 6 3/4. See 16 3/4. So that's pretty dang straight for being squared off of just a piece of wood. Alright, so what we have here is something very stupid. You shouldn't do it, but you could find something better than this. This right here seemed to work out pretty good. This pallet, I blocked it up where it has a perfect square side on it. That's about the only thing I could find. And then I'll square this plate up here. Tack it. We can move it if we want to. We got those pieces tacked on. So now we just measure from there to there. 12 inches. About 12 inches. Okay. So that's looking pretty dang good. So now we're just going to cut up a couple of these pieces. 12 inches, put them on there. Weld it like that. Make sure everything's level. And drill some holes on it, weld it up, put it together. And then that's it for the back. This is where we're at here. We made the bottom piece 12 inches. We put it down there. And then we're gonna measure off each side. We got 5.5 there. And 5.5 there. So everything's good, everything's nice. It looks real good. I mean, we'll just go ahead and tack it up and then weld it up. So it's tacked up. I'm gonna try out this Hobart wire I got, see how good it is. So it'll be my first time really welding with it. We'll weld these corners first. Yeah, that Hobart stuff definitely isn't what Lincoln is. I don't know what's in Lincoln to make it weld so good, but that just looks like garbage. So much spatter and stuff on there. Ah, good God almighty. I got it welded up. Took way longer than what it should have done. That Hobart wire just ain't up to Lincoln standards. I had to grind and re-weld a bunch of that stuff, and it still looks like absolute garbage. But I got it all welded up, all the joints here. Then also off camera, drilled some holes. Went 2.5 inches up, centered it, and 3.5 centered it. But the reason why I came in more this side, because so I can get a wrench on it. Because if I would have done it right here, it'd be real hard to get a wrench on it. So what I'm gonna do, take these bolts out, or these screws out, and put it up underneath there where I want it. Put a paint marker on there. Drill me some pilot holes for these to go in. And then bolt it on, and then start the front. Alright, so we got it placed underneath there. And as long as this skid is real straight, which it is, I put this engine on here myself. So I'll go ahead and double check it. Yep, it's real nice and straight. So what I'm gonna do is just center it up on here. 7/8, 7/8, 7/8, 7/8. So perfect, and that's where I wanted at. So I'm gonna go ahead, use my little blue marker, take out the tip, and feel for the hole. Wiggle that tip around. Feel for the hole. Get your dang mind out of the gutter now. And then what I'm gonna do is jack it up, turn it almost on its end, and then start drilling. Now, to find a drill bit for these holes, for these screws, what I do is I look at these screws right here. I get me a drill bit like that. As long as I can't see it, we're good. But we don't want it to be too small where it's splitting the wood. This one's just about right. It's a little bit tight, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. With it being a little bit tight, I mean, it'll keep extra pressure on it, so there ain't nothing wrong with that. Just drill underneath. I trust that engine hoist. You shouldn't, so my loss, not yours. We'll start drilling. Alrighty, here we are. Got our holes drilled. Now let's go take an iron trying to find a ratchet wrench to get those things up in there, because it's easiest with a ratchet wrench. So 2 hours later, I found a wrench. It's in the trunk of a 1997 Volkswagen Jetta, not inside my toolbox. But we're going to use this ratchet wrench to get them things up in there. The actual holes inside the axle assembly there, right at 3/8, so it was a little bit harder to get to because, of course, marker lines ain't really the most accurate, but the tighter the better, I guess. Got the back axle on, and it's solid, real solid. So I'm pretty happy with it. Not very happy with the way the welds turned out, of course. Yeah, I might go sometime throughout the week and get some new welding wire and sell that garbage on Facebook Marketplace to some poor guy. But this is the reason why we start with the back, so we ain't got to worry about blocks anymore. It ain't sitting on nothing. It's just sitting here rolling. But I'm probably gonna turn it sideways and start building on the front, and then for the ends here for the cotter pins and the spacers to keep the wheels out and on. I normally do that with all 4 of them. So whenever we do that front axle, get it done, I pull all the wheels back off of it, drill them, and see what we got there. But yeah, rear axle's done, and look pretty good, pretty straight, kinda. Yeah, we'll see about the front end now. Probably make this a 2-part video, just because it takes so long to do, and yeah. But anyways, thanks for watching.